Hey Scoundrels, what's going on? Hope you're all doing well. Oh, I need to turn my light on, I forgot. That's slightly better. Hey Scoundrels, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a lovely day. If you'd like to be a Scoundrel and join the channel, subscription button down below. But as always, no pressure, only if you like the content. I really appreciate it when you do click on the content and leave a like and a comment. It really helps it out. And also thanks to G2A for sponsoring the channel. Reference link in the description below. New champion is out. I feel like I'm going to be doing quite a few of these all the way up until when Teemo is released. We've had Lulu, we've had Kennen, we've got Tristana, we've got Corki and Teemo to go. I believe Corki is next, and I think Teemo is last. But we're going to do Tristana today. She's actually relatively simple. I think she's going to be a really strong pick in the meta. I think Tristana is going to be pretty dominant as a choice of champion. She's got a lot of all-in potential. She's got a lot of scaling. She has a range increase that naturally happens through levels. I do think she's going to be a pretty high tier pick. If you're wondering when I'm going to next do my tier list, the next tier list I'll do is once Teemo has been released, and then I've kind of got a bit of an idea. I don't want to make a tier list and then have Corki and Teemo released and just have to do another one. So I'd rather just wait until all of the new Yordles are released and then we can make a new tier list. But for the time being, I'll tell you that Lulu is probably S/S plus tier support. I would say that Kennen is definitely an S tier pick. I don't know S plus, but definitely S tier pick if you can make team fights work in your favor. And I think Tristana is probably going to be up there as well. All of the Yordles so far are good picks in most scenarios. Okay, so Tristana, pretty simple to kind of talk about it. It's a very standard item build path for Tristana. Infinity Edge into Rapidfire Cannon into whichever boots make sense for you in the game that you're in. If you're against a lot of AD, I would recommend going Ninja Tabai, a lot of AP Mercury Treads if you want the tenacity, but also you can just go for the gluttonous ones to get the lifesteal as well. And then when it comes to a enchant, it's also game specific. Zhonya's or Stasis if you need to sort of, I say Zhonya's. Whenever I say Zhonya's, I mean Stasis. Stasis, if you need to go, oh, and you're getting one shot by a Z or something like that, you could have the Quicksilver enchant if you need to cleanse CC, like a Mumu ultimate or Ashe ultimate, or just anything that's going to keep you locked down. You could go for the Locket enchant, which is becoming pretty popular in esports, especially versus the rise of Kennen. More Lockets the better versus Kennen. So there's lots of choices that you can go for when it comes to enchants. I'm keeping the default Quicksilver enchant on, but obviously there are plenty of different enchants that you can swap and change depending on the situation that you're in. Whenever I make guides, I always stress that the boot enchants are very malleable and you can play several different ones. When it comes to the remainder of the build, Static Shiv, that gives you your 3 crit items together, and then you want Guardian Angel and potentially Last Whisper. If you don't need Mortal Reminder, sorry, Last Whisper is part of Mortal Reminder. If you don't need Mortal Reminder, you may want to go for another critical strike item. I would either recommend Phantom Dancer or Runaan's Hurricane. And obviously Guardian Angel is a super strong build right now. The default rune setup they give is actually pretty good. Conqueror is probably just the best setup for Tristana. Gathering Storm is probably best because she's a scaling AD carry. Spirit Walker is a decent setup. I would also potentially think about Hunter if you are wanting the extra health and the tenacity, and obviously because you're in lane, you're going to want to have the Honey Fruit. People have talked about AP Tristana being a thing. It's very, very difficult to pull off. I wouldn't say that AP Tristana is super viable. There is another way that you can look to build her, though. You can look to build her with GA first, potentially, mainly because, again, if you're going to go GA first, it might be worth going for the Champion rune, wherever that is here, because it gives you that 10% damage increase, but it's a little bit risky to do so. But GA first can sometimes be considered as it's just a very strong item. However, what I would say is GA is getting nerfed, and so I would probably just think about this being the standard build path that you would take for Tristana. They recommended as a default build this AoE, sort of like Runaan's Hurricane, Blade of the Ruin King. I don't think Tristana works particularly well with Blade of the Ruin King. I would say that I think she's better off as a critical strike marksman overall. Alright, cool. That's her build path and her rune. She's relatively simple to talk about. Let's talk about the leveling priority. This time there is really only one to talk about, so we'll start off with that. Okay, pretty simple with Tristana. You obviously always max the ultimate as usual, but then you max her third ability first, which is her explosive shot. Then you max draw a bead, which is her first ability, and then eventually you max, at the very end, you max your rocket jump, and that is pretty much all there is to it. Explosive shot provides you the burst of damage that you need. There is another build path that you can consider. You basically put in points up until level 5 in your explosive shot. After level 5, you put all of your points into draw a bead. So essentially you get as many levels into explosive shot as you can, I think 2, and then you get your ultimate, and then you put the rest of your ability points into draw a bead, and then you put them into explosive shot afterwards. It really doesn't matter though. I think maxing explosive shot is probably best for the mid game anyway. So max explosive shot, then draw a bead, and then rocket jump. Firstly, let's talk about her passive, relatively easy to discuss. Increase the ranges of attacks, her explosive charge, and her buster shot by 10 per level. So I'm going to show you that at her max level, she actually has a ridiculously long attack range for an AD carry, and all of your skills have exactly the same range as her basic attack. So anything that you can basic attack, you can also apply her skill to, and that's pretty much easy as you like. It's really, really simple to see, but I'm actually going to show you what it looks like from level 1. So if I can reset my level. Oh, let's reset the enemy level. Reset my level. Cool. So this is my range at level 1. If I go back, wait, I might just leave it here. So this is my range at level 1. It keeps auto-attacking the closest target, which is really annoying. But yes, this is my range at level 1. You can see. Great. And then let's level up. This is my range at level 15. So you can see the difference between in range. You gain quite a significant amount of range throughout the levels, and that can actually be the massive difference maker in the late game. So that's draw a bead, her passive, relatively simple passive, and it's what makes Tristana scale well into the late game, because range is always good on an AD carry. Okay, her first ability, Rapidfire, gain 90% bonus attack speed for 5 seconds, and as you can see, relatively simple to talk about. It's on a 16-second cooldown. You just pop it, and then you're glowing. You can see your gun begins to glow. That means the rapid fire is active, and then essentially you just start attacking much more quickly. Really, really simple. Honestly, nothing else to it. It's just a self attack speed steroid that becomes very useful in the late game for either bursting a carry or getting your explosive shot charged up as quickly as possible. Rocket jump. Leap to a target location. In fact, actually, do you know what? I'm going to do her third ability first. Explosive charge. Passive. Enemies explode when killed by Tristana, dealing 130 magic damage plus 25% of your AP to nearby enemies. Active. Place a bomb on an enemy turret, or enemy turret, dealing 93 physical damage, scaling with your AD and your AP to nearby enemies. Tristana's attacks and abilities charge the bomb's damage by 30%, stacking it up to 4 times. Bombs immediately explode at full stacks. Explosion radius is doubled for bombs placed on turrets. And as you can see, the passive damage is there, the active damage is there, and the more points that you put in it, the more AD scaling that it gets, which is an interesting thing you don't see too often in abilities, is they get an increase in AD scaling, which is why it's best to put the points in this ability first. And again, you see it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it explodes and deals damage around it. And you can actually combo this with your attack speed steroid to get it to happen quicker, and it's a very simple combo with Tristana. Okay, so I did say I was going to talk about the second ability now, which is Rocket Jump. Leap to a target location, dealing magic damage with AP scaling, slowing nearby enemies by 60%. The slow duration goes up with level, by the way, as does the base damage, as well as the cooldown coming down pretty significantly. Takedowns and fully stacked explosive charge detonations on champions reset Rocket Jump's cooldown. So, this is what it looks like normally. You just jump onto them like this. And essentially it's a way of escaping a situation, and obviously you can use it to reposition in fights or close distances. If you kill an enemy, that immediately resets, so you can essentially jump to jump to jump to jump. The other thing that resets it is this, 2, 3, jump, and then it explodes and I can immediately jump away. Okay, so that is a combination with explosive charge, because the abilities also charge the bomb's damage. So essentially what you can do is 1, 2, 3, jump, and it explodes, and then you can jump away, or you can jump again. You get the double jump damage, and it's a really good way of all-inning. You want to do it on the third attack on your explosive charge, though. You do not want to do it on the fourth attack, because I'll show you what happens. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then jump, and then, you don't get the reset. So you need to use explosive charge, or rather rocket jump, to proc the explosive charge ability to get the reset on it. Okay, and her final ability, her ultimate, is Buster Shot. Fires a massive cannonball at an enemy that deals magic damage and has AP scaling, knocking them back. And again, this is an ability very simple. You just get extra damage and the cooldown comes down with leveling it up. Again, this can combo with explosive shot. So make sure you can do this 1, 2, 3, and then buster shot, and it'll proc the explosive charge on top. You can obviously also do this 1, 2, and then you can basically do a rocket jump and so 1, 2, rocket jump and explosive charge. You get a massive burst on them as well. So again, you can combo that with your rocket jump and your explosive charge. But the other thing that you can do, and this is something that you won't find too many opportunities to do because it kind of requires you to put yourself in danger. But essentially, you can do a rocket jump buster shot combo. So it looks like this. Got your target and you buster shot them immediately backwards. So you jump over them, buster shot them backwards. Good thing to do is get 1, 2 on them, jump over them, and buster shot them backwards. Or rather go 1, 2, 3. You can jump over them and buster shot them backwards. If you're really good, you can go 1, 2, just land over the other side and buster shot them backwards for the extra damage as well. But again, this does require you to put yourself in harm's way. You can also queue up the buster shot ability. One thing that I have noticed though is if you do it before you've actually jumped over them, sometimes it can go a little bit funny. Like sometimes it can go in a different direction. So just make sure your character model is just over the top of them before you do it. And that's a very simple Tristana combo to make work. Tristana doesn't have many hard combos to pull off. The ones that I've shown you are the combo with the explosive shot like this, 2, 3 to get the reset with your jump. That's a really good way of looking for an all-in trade-in lane. You can do the same with buster shot as I've shown you before. Like this, you can buster shot and get that off. And again, there is the rocket jump buster shot combo, which is a pretty common way of picking a target out, especially if you catch someone by themselves. Buster shot and rocket jump is a good way of just keeping them, or at least like shoving them into the middle of your team as well. So the one last thing that I want to show you with Tristana requires me to turn the minions on, so I'm going to go do that now, and I'll show you at the end. Okay, I don't actually know how to turn minions back on, so I've just bought 4 Warmogs and a Thornmail to show you this in action. Pretty simple thing to do. You can actually use explosive shot on the towers. And there are no minions here, so clearly I'm going to take a load of damage. But explosive shot on the towers is a really good way of pushing towers very quickly. So it's, again, something that you can do with Tristana, explosive shot on towers, and it helps you push towers really, really quickly. Simple champion to get to grips with. One of the easiest champions, I think, to play in the AD carry position. It also has great scaling. You guys should definitely go and check out Tristana. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and I'll see you soon.